Dear Sangha, today is December 17th, 2011. We are having our Mindfulness Day. How was your day? You enjoyed? I'm very happy to hear that. Last night, we very much enjoyed our Christmas potluck dinner. That is our annual dinner before we have Christmas, before we have a winter break. And today we have a Mindfulness Day, the last day, Mindfulness Day of the year. The reason I introduce Michael and share with you his desire is related to one of the questions here. How do we balance our desire? In our daily life as a human, we all have a desire. But what kind of desire we have? And the Buddha taught there are two kinds of desires, positives or negative. If we have a kind of desire, that means we have the intent to make our dream, our wish to become true. And if it's positive, we will do all the best. But on the way to success, that positive, there are a lot of good things we have to produce, to do, to be done in order to make that positive desire appear possible. Same thing. If there is a negative desire, and of course there will be a lot of negative things we have to be done to make that negative result. So because the result is the fruit, the result is the fruit, but you have to create a lot of negative conditions to make that negative fruit to be there. That is the reason why we need to practice, to cultivate, to gain a little bit positive each day to make the better fruit, to be the better flower, to be blossom. We have to be mindful on our desire, what kind of desire we have. And no matter it's positive or negative, we have to use the light of mindfulness. We need to nourish all the time. Let example. I want to become a monk. And my starting point, my starting desire, very gentle, very beautiful. I want to become a monk. I want to help others. But very be careful. The fame, the position may destroy your beautiful desire in the past, at the beginning. So even we have a very beautiful desire in the past, but we should also watch out, because if a lot of praising each day, but you are not, if you attach too much on that, you also in a danger too. So that's why some of the teachers, even they know their students are good, but they still don't give them a lot of praising. Why? Because they are like a pile of rocks. Even you see full of rocks, but if you use a handful of sand and you feel, and there are still a lot of holes in between all the rocks, they can drop down. And what are the holes in between all the rocks? The mistakes. Can you image the picture of the piles of rocks? One day the student came to see the master and say, "Master, I think I'm good enough to leave you. I think I'm good enough to leave the Sangha. So may I move out and be on my own. And the master said, okay, tomorrow you come here to see me. And before you come in, please bring along with you a pail of rocks. Full. So he put all the rocks and he put in the pail and he bring to see the master. When he showed the pail of rocks, look, full of rocks. But the master used sand and spray on that pail of rocks, and all the sand go down underneath of the pail along with all the holes between the rocks. And the master said, do not completely trust on what you see, because in you there's still a lot of small things that you need to fix. Do you see that? And that's how we are. Why is that? Because we still live in this quiet society. Lots of attracting. Lot of things that can pull us out of our beautiful path. So that is why when the monks, the nuns, we go out, we must put on our robe. We know that the robe cannot turn you into a monastic, cannot make you become the monastic. But this robe able to protect you on the right track. So that's why when you go out, we must put the robe on, because this robe will remind us, you are the monk, you are the monastic. You should not do anything out of the monastic life. When you put on the prayer bead on your hand like this, it also reminds you, when you do something you use your hand to do, you look at it, oh, I'm wearing the prayer beads. So the beads remind you right away. You put the Buddha, you wear the Buddha on your necklace. So when you look back, you see the Buddha is right here. Sister Thanh Quang left Vietnam in 1963 and to study, and she is very successful in her education and her life. But for a while, after she done everything for her kids, for her family, and she think it is now to do something for her own. So she left everything, become a nun. And after that, her teacher allowed her to be the abbess of a temple in Quebec City. Many years she served the Buddhist community there. Soon she reached to the age of 68. She thinks it's enough to serve in the community now. She withdrew after she learned the master have done a senior facility. She withdrew from the temple. She said, I have done to help you, and I think my age now is need to be on my own, and so I can relax and do things for my own. She go to the senior facility, senior lodge, and now she leads the chanting, the prayer with the senior twice a day. And on the weekend she come to the temple and participate us. What kind of desire she have? You can see, right? So, but she knows she have mindfulness to balance, to cut off when she thinks it is enough. The most important is we have to learn the word enough. When you see you enough, you start to slow down, or sometimes you need to stop that. In Vietnamese way, how to explain the greed is the endless pocket. Because if the pocket have no end, never feel enough. So people will say, I'm very rich. The reason I'm rich because I know enough. We don't feel enough. We never feel that we are rich. We always feel I'm poor. So I admire Sister Thanh Quang because she have very clear. She divide her life beautifully to justify all her responsibility. She was a wife, a mother, so she have to done what she have to done for her kids. Now after she done as a monastic, she do something within her capacity, her energy, her age, and now it is time for her to relax. But even relax, but you still serve within your capacity. We never stop working. She never stopped working, but she know her own energy, capacity to take enough job for her. For example, when we are 20, we can lift up something 30 kilos, 40 kilos, but remember, when we are in the 50, don't think we're still 20. We should know we are 50. We do something within our 50 years old. Otherwise, we will break, we will fail, we will something. And we complain, oh my God, I go to temple to volunteer, but the Buddha does not bless me. How the Buddha bless? Because you never know your energy, your capacity. So we all have a business to do. We all have a family. We all have a spiritual path to practice. But we should know how to balance. Some of the sisters, she wonder about her practice. For example, I have lots of phone calls or emails about their practice. Sometimes they want to completely vegetarian, but her husband, her children are not ready for. And she asked Thầy, I want to practice fully vegetarian. Do I able to do that? And I say, no, I don't support that. I said, you have to know you still have a responsibility for your family. You still need to cook for your husband, you cook for your children, and as a family, sometimes you need to go out and eat. So you should vegetarian in the limit days you have. And then maybe in the weekend, you can spend time with the family. So the Buddha not allow any members to practice, but they forgot their responsibility with their family. That is not the Buddha's idea. That is not the Buddha's teaching. As long as you take your role, you have to play your role exactly. Like you accept a family, like you want to get married, you become husband and wife, then you must know you are husband now, you are a wife now, you must play your role. You don't have kids, fine. But once you have kids, you have to share. Not only your husband take the responsibility for your kid, not only with your wife, but you both need to share. Why? Because if one person do all the work, they will explode. They cannot continue. Do you remember this morning we recite the Bodhisattva's name? We vow to offer joys to one person in the morning and to ease a suffering of a person in the afternoon. What does that mean? Balance. You know, in Vietnamese and Chinese tradition, when they do the wedding ceremony for the children, they are not allowed to marry two sons in the same year. One son and one daughter. They cannot do they cannot do the wedding for two sons on the same in 1 year. It's not balanced. They believe it's not balanced. So I always encourage people who want to go to temple to do volunteer work. You must done your work at home before you come. Otherwise, after you stay in the temple, you're so happy, you so enjoy, but when you back home, it's like hell. It's not correct. When I was 12 and 13 years old, every weekend on Friday, I go to the temple and stay with the master until Sunday night. I do that every weekend. And do you know, soon I go back home from school, I do all my household work. I vacuum all the rooms, I wash the dishes, I clean the house nice and neat. And because that is my job, I have to done before I go to temple. So my parents have nothing to blame me, because I have done my role. When I go to temple, I stay in the temple in the weekend. I do all the work before I go. I leave. I clean the temple and everything. I go back home. When I was a teenager, I want to go to temple and stay in the weekend. I have to do that. And then after you have lived in what if you are successful on your desire, you still need to nourish, because otherwise a lot of things can come in. For example, we look at our garden in the summertime. Even you plant the grass, the flower, but you still need to work in the garden regularly. So make sure the flower grow good, nothing can come in and destroy your garden. Right? You need to clean up and do a lot of work in the garden. Same thing. Even you have the desire to become the monastic. You live in the temple, but that is not enough. You still work with your mind, with your desire a lot. If not, a lot of things can bring you out. Otherwise, you have the form that you are the monastic, but the quality is nothing. No quality. Sometimes we reflect on ourselves. I am the husband. I am a father. But do I have enough qualified? I have enough quality as a father, as a wife? We need to reflect. Sometimes we think, I am great. I go to work, I give money, I work. We work all day. We work 7 days a week, and we think, oh, because we live for this family, we work for the family, but that is not enough. Money cannot buy happiness. There was a couple who touched to the very bottom of the suffering. And one morning, they both come to see Thầy. And they sit down and they try to explore all their suffer, all the anger in them. The husband blamed. Do you know what do I need from you? I don't need money. I need nothing. I only need a family meal. And the wife said, I think you owe enough to prepare your own meal. You don't need me. That's what I go to work. He said, I don't need money that much. And he said, but we don't have enough money. I need to work and work in order to raise enough money for the family. But the husband said, no, I know we need money, but I don't need that much. I really need a family meal. Can you see that? So if we are not mindful on sometimes we have a wrong perception. Some monks, they do social work. They do volunteer work. And because they have to do social work, they work all day and night. But still, once a while, they need to reflect back and they know that they need to practice. No matter how much you work, you still need an amount of time to practice on your own. Because that practice will nourish all your work through the day. Sometimes Thầy is very busy with a lot of work in the temple. But if I feel that I'm not feeling well with the work, I will stop and go out and take a walking and breathing to allow myself a few minutes to relax before I continue. And that is the art to last longer. Otherwise, we will end sooner. That is the true happiness. Nobody can offer us the true happiness, just us. You know that I understand the youth. So on Sunday night, I told the young monks, Sunday night, you done your homework, you are spare, you can play. Sometimes I encourage them to find some movie that they can learn together so they can watch. The brothers can watch movie together. They need some time to relax, to enjoy. They're still young. But if we allow them all day, then that's not good. So when the young people come for the retreat, I always say, do you remember Thay's rule? When it's time to learn, you learn. When it's time to play, you play. You cannot mix. And I give an example. You cannot mix the rice with the sand. Sand cannot mix with the rice. You cannot eat. So therefore, when it's time for you to learn, put all your toys and everything away. Let's spend 1 hour to learn. 1 hour you learn, you have 2 hours to play. Sometimes they watch TV when they do homework. They listen music, they do homework. They chat when they do homework. They take chat when they are talking to you. And I don't like that way. Some young people, they come and they ask my counseling, Thầy, I need your help, but on their hand they use a cellular phone, and sometimes I'm talking, but they look down and then they press. I think they are taking notes, but actually they are sending messages. That's not fair for Thầy. I did not charge them. When you are practicing sitting meditation, before you are get ready for a session of sitting meditation, make sure you prepare some simple things on your body and your environment. For example, don't wear things too tight. And if you wear things too tight, it makes you feel uncomfortable, and your breathing, your breath is also blocked out. Find the cushion that fit for you. If you need a larger bench, a larger cushion, find one. As the first time when you sit on the cushion, you feel comfortable, but maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, you don't feel comfortable. Because when you first sit, you don't feel anything yet. But after 5 or 10 minutes, you realize it's not appropriate cushion for you. So be prepared. If you do practice meditation every day, and find for yourself a comfortable set of cushions. If you really need to sit on a bench or on a chair, do so. Because the time of meditation is to relax, to enjoy, not to endure all kind of suffer. Sometimes we suffer a lot while we meditate because the cushion is not fit, because something else, the environment. So be prepared for us. When you are feeling that you have an abnormal react while you meditate, for example, you start to shake, you start to sit not straight, then once a while you should open your eyes and pay attention how your body, which side, and then you fix it again. Sometimes that is how we have to do during the meditation session. Once a while we should reflect back, feel how your body is right now. If it's not straight, then move it back. Because that is very more normal for something. If something you leave it for a while, then it's have to lean in somewhere, and we need to fix it again. So the body is the same. But we need to adjust that all the time until we get used to, we get very stable while during the sitting. You know that when we reflect back on our daily life, how much time we spend with negative things. Very easy to influence, to attract. For instance, in our Vietnamese community now, one of the struggling things that they have to face and deal with is the young people don't speak their mother language that much. Why? Because they spend 8 hours in school. They speak English all day. And when they go home, they don't have much time to talk with the parents because they have to do the homework. And the parents, maybe after work, they're a little bit tired, or they have to do something else like the cooking, cleaning, and do their job. And sometimes very less time to talk with the children. And if you get used with that all the time, then of course your English is better than your mother's language. And I think not only in the Vietnamese community, but with many other community too, if they have their own language. That is why we need to open the Vietnamese school, the language school. So we encourage the kids to participate, to learn Vietnamese every weekend, at least to keep them a little bit of reading or speaking their mother's language. We are the same. How much we socialize, we get in touch with the practice? Not much. Let's say if you are a cashier, a teller at the bank, You have to dealing with money, with numbers, with customer every day. Very hard too. So therefore, a lot of things if we do some job, we have to do same thing every day. And then very hard to gain the positive. And that is why I always remind the Sangha at least 15 or 20 minutes or 10 minutes each day to practice. Not much. But I always feel better than nothing. If not, we totally lost. We totally lost. You can imagine, if you don't come to the Friday regularly, your laziness starts to build up. You know, oh, I left the Sangha for a month or 2 months already, and then you can see, oh, there's nothing fun. Just come there for 1 hour and a half and sit and talk and share, and then something else is more fun. That's very normal. Even the young people. Of course, they like to practice, but if you bring them to West Edmonton Mall, Galaxy Land, and of course they would choose there rather than stay in the temple and practice. Why is that? Because we are human. And the negative always have something more attractive and more fun. Between coming to a mindfulness day and attending a big sale, of course, big sale is only once a while, but mindfulness day can do once a month. So we will choose a big sale. That's very normal. That's why we need to practice. And because it's not easy to achieve, that's why the word practice is possible. Practice. Practice means try. Correct it. If you cannot sit cross legs, practice. Practice means try to sit. If everything is easy, then the word practice is not possible. The word practice means try to do it. Do your best. When you have enough mindfulness in you, you are in the condition of liberation. Do you remember the song that Brother Michael just sang? Here is the Pure Land. The Pure Land is here. And the last sentence is very beautiful. Once your mind have no attachment, you are free everywhere. So where is the Pure Land? Where is the Buddha's paradise? Not at that corner, not in this temple, but this is how Buddhists explain the paradise, the nirvana. In this situation, and right in this moment, 20 of us here, if you do enjoy, right in your spot, it is the Pure Land. But same thing with someone who do not like to sit. Even they sit in the same spot as you, same environment, they hear the same what you hear, but they know no joys at all. No nirvana. The place where they sit is not paradise, not the Pure Land. The place where they sit is something very difficult. So sometimes in this, not because you have to go to that corner in order to have peace. Peace can be, you can have peace anywhere you sit with your enjoyment. You have no enjoy, you have no peace. Like this morning, we're practicing sitting meditation, we're practicing silent meal. You really enjoy it. Then the time you are here is like something unbelievable. If not, you cannot enjoy at all. So don't think, oh, we need to move. We need to move to that corner in order to call the Pure Land. That corner is the Pure Land is for who? For someone who do know how to recognize and enjoy it. So do you know how we explain the word hell? What is the definition for word hell? H-E-L-L, what is the definition for that? So there are 6 definitions about hell. It's there. Hell is really, really there for someone who are totally in the suffer. Hell is not there for someone who is not in the suffering situation. When inside of you, you fully of suffer, and that is hell. When inside of you, your feeling is peace, at ease, and relaxed, that is heaven. So hell is only appear and disappear for someone. Depends on what kind of people, what kind of your feelings now. Full suffer is the definition of hell. Do not like it. Don't worry about your angry. The emotions. We all have all kind of emotions in us. And sometimes we're so happy, sometimes we're so angry. That means we do not know how to taming the emotions in us. So when you're in an angry situation, recognize it. And you make your anger become normal. Even when you are so happy and do not express you are so happy, you also can make it balance. You can make it. When people praising you, when people praising us, we're so happy. After a minute, the second of happy, remind yourself, no, that's normal. Because we have the habit. When people praising, we happy. When people blaming, we unhappy. But the point is, we reflect right at the moment we happy and not happy. Bring it to the level of balancing right away. When you're so unhappy by the blaming, that means you're unbalanced. You're so happy with the praising, that also means we are in the unbalanced situation. Make it normal. So that's why Vietnamese people used to say, if If you overeating, you lose your appetite. If you are too angry, you cannot speak with your smart words, intelligent words. Because at the moment we're so angry, we don't have any beautiful words. We lost all the beautiful words. So that's why we learn not eat in our meal, do not eat too full. Because when you are too full, you feel uncomfortable. And that's very true. If you always have the habit of eat too full, if someday you try to eat just enough, and you can see the big difference. When you are too full, you easy to fall asleep. And you unable to do something. Because you're too full, you're so tired. But you eat just enough, you feel great. You can sit, you can do something after. So emotions, very normal. But the point is, we practice to bring them up to the normal level. So one day, the student come and ask the master, "Master, can you please teach me how to practice the path?" He said, "Keep your emotion in balance." Well, one high officer came and see the master and say, "Master, can you tell me what is hell and what is heaven?" And the master said, "You really a dumb person." He angry. And the master said, "That is hell." And when the master pointed at him, that is hell, because he want to know the definition of hell. So the master showed him right away, "You really dumb." He angry, he turned red. The master said, "That's hell." And in the minute, he recognized it. He joined his palm, "I'm sorry, master." He said, "That is heaven." So hell and heaven is, you see why they explain yes or no. Yes for someone who in a very angry. No for someone who is release it. So once you release something out of your mind, you are in heaven. How do we know that we are enlightenment? Enlightenment is not the situation that you can fly, you can walk on the water, you can walk on the fire, you can do something miracle. Enlightenment means you do aware right every single situation. That's called enlightenment. When we angry, we know we angry. Enlightenment. We truly accept our situation. And when we ask ourselves, since I practice meditation, since I practice mindfulness, does my life better? Sometimes we need to ask ourselves that question. Yes, I do. I realize that I change much. I'm more calm now. I'm more relaxed now. I'm more slow down. I'm not a fast reacting person anymore. I have more slow down in all my actions, my words. And that is the benefits of meditation. That is the benefit of mindful practice. When you have enough liberation in you, anywhere you sit, you're still happy. You don't have to bring and declare, this is my space. Any space you sit is still very wide space. Some people, they have a song. Somebody want to become number one, I'm willing to be number two. If who want to be the best, I will take better. Because they want to become the best, then there's no more place for you. Then you just take, oh, I'm good. Because that person take the best already. Because from good, better, and best. So they want to become the best, we're just good. Good enough. And that is how things go. They want to be number one. We will become zero. So we come together, we become number 10. If he is number one, I am also number one, we'll be 11. So you look at when you are cooking the bowl of soup. When you are taking the soup is the main thing you take. But the cilantro is nothing. But without the cilantro, the soup is missing something. So cilantro is very small compared to the whole bowl of soup. You see what I mean? A penny, separately, penny is nothing. But when you have 99 cents already, you don't have a penny, cannot call a dollar. Even you are just a penny, but you still see that you have the whole space of yourself. A penny still have a very important situation. When I was in school, I always, when I go to somewhere, I always go to the very back to sit. And if everything done, people all took their seat. If any other space left, I will come and sit. That's how am I even when I was young. I myself have learned that. It's better than you go to the back, and if people think you should move up, and they will invite you. If you sit on the wrong seat, you sit on a very high seat, they say, sorry, this is not your seat, can you move back? And sometimes you don't feel happy with that. So my practice is, wherever I go, I always go to the back. Let people take all the seat that they like. We'll come next. In Vietnamese way to teach the kids, when we come to the meal together, let the adults take all the food first. We will last because we only take something, whatever left over. That doesn't mean, because we are the adult and we try to unfair with the kids. No, we try to teach the kids. Because remember, we see the happiness of the others is our own happiness. Serving people is a great happiness for us. I always say that to the ladies in the kitchen. You spend your time to cook, the more people come and enjoy, the more you're happy. And sometimes, I share with them, sometimes they try to save something for us, but we ran out of the food and people come and have no more food. I say, take all our parts, give to the members. We can have the rice with soy sauce or whatever, but always make people comfortable and happy first. We see them eat, we happy enough. The mothers will be very happy if they can see their children smile. The mother will be very full, very satisfied if they can see their kid eat well what they cook. You willing to give your part to your kids. If sometimes you cook just enough, but on that day they're so hungry, they want more. You willing to say, take more, I'm okay. That's how the mothers love. But we all right. We don't see why you took my bowl, why you take my part, why you took my meal. Same thing. When we have enough, the freedom in us, anywhere we sit, we happy. Anything we eat, we happy. Because the peace, the joy is already in us. The liberation is big enough in us. We see we have a lot of space. People, they don't see that. That's why they want to take our space. They want to take our possession. But that's okay. You want it, I can share. This is not the philosophy. This is the practice. You don't practice that, you never see. You cannot experience how you're happy after you can overcome all of that kind of struggling. In the past, you think you must sit there in order to show your possession. But one day, you're able to stand up and leave that space for someone else, but you have no problem with all of that. You know that you success in your practice. The same as I share with the Sangha. Sometimes I'm very angry with the young people, but on the way to go down, I think I should, yell at them. But after I walk up and I say, no, it doesn't work. I go back to my room and I start to take my deep breath. Few minutes later, I feel calm. I'm very happy I have overcome one more time with my anger. That's all we have to do. Remember, we all have a buffalo to look after. We always have a monkey to look after. The monkey of the mind, the buffalo of the mind. Our mind is like a buffalo, it's like a monkey. We have to play with our monkey all day long. We are not allowed to sit there and playing your flute. In the Zen imaginations, when they say about the mind, we are like a buffalo boy. Our mind is like a buffalo. First, we need to taming the mind like the buffalo boy, have no free time to play the flute. Unless you sit here, your mind is here, then you are free to play your flute. You are free to sing a song. But at first, you are unable to. You must work very hard with your buffalo. When you are vegetarian, very hard to control your desire of stopping at KFC, stopping at Pizza Hut, stopping at some restaurant that you really like. One day, one of the young boy who practicing vegetarian, he passed by a restaurant, a fast food in the mall. Wow, it smells good. He told me that. I say, what? You want to eat? He said, no. I said, really? He said, yeah. I know it's good smell, but I don't feel I like to eat it. It's a practice. In the 100 Fable Sutra, the Buddha gave an example about that. There was a dog who swam between the river. His family called, come back here, come back here. We're taking good care for you. But the other side, they are roasting some meat and make the dog, very smell good, and the dog try to run there, but people call him back, and after forth and back, the dog die because too tired. So the Buddha said, if we are not sure how strong we are, then try to get away from something that is not necessary for you as much as you can. That doesn't mean you totally, right? But if not necessary, then don't socialize with that. For example, we're using internet. This is something I know lot of us. Let's practice. If you don't have to check email, if you have nothing to do, then don't just sit in front of the internet and play around, searching, and if not necessary, then stand up and do something else. Give you a chance to practice how to away from it. A cellular phone, very convenient. But still, someday, if you really not need to use it, turn it off and give yourself a day without, or few hours without a cell phone to see how you feel. If you know that you feel uncomfortable, that means you really fall in that. You need to work with that already. It's like a man that I mentioned this morning. When people call him a lot and he complained, oh my God, I have no time to rest. People call all the time. But one day nobody called him and he thought his cell phone is broken. He tried to find someone to test whether his cell phone is still working or not. Because you're holding the phone, you talk all day, you become the habit. But nobody talk, you feel you're missing something. So for the conclusion, today I try my best to answer some of the questions, of course still a lot. I will save this and I will share with the Sangha next time. So for those questions I did not answer yet, that doesn't mean I forgot, because we don't have enough time. I will keep it when we come back next year. I will try my best to share. All the questions here, I want to summarize. The mindfulness is very important. In order to remain the mindfulness, we should keep our practice regularly. And how do we nourish our practice? Our practice is like a tree, it's like a plant. Don't just plant it and leave it there. We need to take good care for it every day. Sometimes we bring out to the sun, sometimes we less water, sometimes we more water, sometimes we need to do some gardening. So make sure all the plant, all the grass cannot come and all the garbage cannot come and make our garden messy. Anything we do, if we do not do regularly, of course we will forget. That is normal. Something you memorize by heart, but if you don't chant them regularly, you don't remind them regularly, you forgot. Even your friend, you don't see your friend for a while, sometimes you forgot their name. You see them, you know them, but you forgot the name. That's very normal. The phone number you used to call, you memorize it, but if you don't call them regularly, you may forget the number. Even your cell phone, sometimes people call you, but you never call your own cell phone. So people ask, what is your cell phone number? You have to come back and see, I don't remember my number. That's very true, because anything you don't use it, you don't remember it. That's why in Buddhism we use the word reciting. Reciting the precept, reciting the sutra. Why we need to recite? Reciting is keep it warm all the time. Keep it alive in our mind all the time. Kung Fu. Kung Fu is not martial art. Kung Fu is the Buddhist term. Kung Fu is the Buddhist term. Now they use the word Kung Fu in martial art is they're using the Buddhist term to call their practice. But actually in Buddhism, Kung Fu, that means everything you do every day is a Kung Fu. You repeat and repeat every day is called Kung Fu. You eat in mindfulness, that is Kung Fu. You walk mindfulness, you walk mindfully, Kung Fu. You do chanting every day, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9:30 meditation, all of that session called Kung Fu. Kung Fu means you spend time to do it wholeheartedly, that is Kung Fu. So that's why when they do something beautifully, people come and say, wow, this look very Kung Fu. That means this look very nice and neat. People put a lot of time, a lot of effort in there. That's how the word Kung Fu means. Kung Fu means everything you do wholeheartedly over and over every day, you put your heart in there. So when you chant with your heart. That's Kung Fu. When you practice meditation with your heart. You know, a lot of people send emails to the temple and express how gratitude they receive from our Dhamma talks. And I also gratitude to Phong, who spent a lot of time to summarize and to edit all the talks, and he upload on internet. Lot of Kung Fu. His mother have no time to go to temple, but she stay home and she work. Like after she have done her household, all the time she have left is spending for editing Thai's Dhamma talk. Not only in English, but also in Vietnamese. Not only at Trúc Lâm, but anywhere I travel, give talk, I bring back home and I give it to her. I know nothing about editing. Everything she have done. So Phong's mother worked very hard, and I really appreciate that. She put a lot of Kung Fu in there. So now you understand the word Kung Fu. Kung Fu means you do something wholeheartedly over and over again. Without the Kung Fu, we cannot transform our difficulties. We cannot see any true facts of life. Once you can see the true facts of life, you are very free anywhere you sit, anywhere you go to. You can accept people easier. The Buddha never refused any kind of people in the world. Even they are homosexual, even they are prostitute, even they are a very low class in the society. And one day there is a student who come to see the master. He asked, "Where you come from?" "I'm come from the south of China." "Wow, why you are here for?" "Oh, I want to come here to learn to become the Buddha." And the master say, "The Buddha is a very high attainment. You are in the very low class in the society. How can you achieve it?" The student answer, "Yes, people have south and north, west and east, but the Buddha's nature have no west, no south." The master agreed, because he want to contest, he want to test the student. He want to say, "You are a silly person, you are live in the south of China," because at that time, south of China is people in a very low class. He tried to test. You want to become a Buddha? Buddha is a very high achievement. A person like you were born in the South, how can you achieve it? But the student said, yes, people have South, East, West, North. But as a Buddha's nature, there is no South, no West. We all can do it. Not only monastics can achieve, we all can achieve the same. Not only the Buddha achieved to his stage, we all can do it. And again, everything must do regularly, otherwise nothing can flourish, nothing can blossom. Thank you, the Sangha, for your questions, for your listening. I hope that with my sharing, at least you benefit something based on my understanding and my sharing. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha bless you all and your family. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope that you do enjoy your winter break, your holidays. And please, in order to cultivate your practice further on the path, we all need to make a strong vow. The vow is the energy to lead us, to bring us to the beautiful destination. Without a vow, we cannot continue. For example, I vow to become a monk. That's why I will do my best as a monk. So you vow to practice more diligently next year, then your vow to become a strong effort to support you. So we practice, we don't have a vow, then the practice is not strong enough. A couple, they love each other, but they don't have a vow on during their marriage, then they cannot keep their happiness. Do you vow to take this lady as your lawful wife? Do you vow to take this man as your lawful husband? Yes, I do. And yes, I do is a vow. So that's why in Buddhist practice, a vow is very important. Make your vow. Cultivate your vow. Please enjoy your breathing along with the 3 sounds of the bell.